A cryptic voicemail leads three friends into a waking nightmare in the depths of a haunted forest. A crackling campfire casts flickering shadows on the faces of three friends. Ava, Max, and Leo huddled around it in a remote clearing. The wind whispers through the ancient trees, their gnarled branches clawing at the twilight sky. Ava stared at her phone, replaying the voicemail for the 10th time. A distorted voice, barely audible over static, rasped, "Don't trust the whispering trees. Turn back before the shadows fall." A shiver ran down her spine. This cryptic message, left by her estranged Uncle Arthur, was the only clue they had about his sudden disappearance in these very woods years ago. Max scoffed, tossing a log onto the fire. "Just some creepy prank, probably? Your uncle loved riddles." Ava wasn't so sure. Arthur wasn't the type for frivolous games, and the urgency in his voice, even through the distortion, gnawed at her gut. Max and Leo join in, dismissing the voicemail as Arthur's eccentricity. But Ava remains uneasy, a seed of doubt planted in her mind. Driven by a mix of curiosity and concern, they delved deeper into the woods the next morning. The sunlight cast long, menacing shadows from the towering pines, and the air hung heavy with a strange stillness, an unnerving quiet, broken only by the rustle of unseen creatures and the creaking of decaying branches. The deeper they venture, the denser the forest becomes. Sunlight struggles to penetrate the twisted canopy, the atmosphere growing oppressively dark and unsettling. As dusk fell, casting an eerie blue haze over the woods, they stumbled upon an abandoned cabin, its windows boarded shut, its porch collapsing. Arthur's cabin, according to the map. A primal fear gnawed at their insides, the whispers seeming to grow louder, echoing through the trees, twisting in their minds. Cautiously, they approach the cabin. The silence becomes thick and suffocating, punctuated only by their nervous breaths and the creaking of their footsteps. Inside, dust coated everything. Cobwebs adorned the corners like macabre tapestries. A shiver of dread ran through Ava as she found a faded drawing on the wall. A grotesque depiction of the forest, the trees contorted into menacing figures, their branches reaching out like grasping claws. Suddenly, a chilling cackle tore through the silence. Shadows danced on the walls, taking forms both humanoid and grotesque. Panicked, they stumbled back, Max tripping over a broken chair, splinters digging into his leg. They are attacked by unseen entities, the shadows manifesting into nightmarish figures that claw and snatch at them. Max screams in pain as the creatures tear at his wound. The air crackled with a malevolent energy. As the whispering grew louder, a chorus of voices both seductive and horrifying, promising oblivion and sweet release. Leo, succumbing to the insidious allure, reached out to the shadows, a smile contorting his face. Ava and Max, fueled by desperate fear, clawed their way through the spectral onslaught, crashing out of the cabin and into the night. They ran blindly, the whispers pursuing them, urging them to turn back, to join the darkness. Just as their strength failed, they stumbled upon a clearing bathed in moonlight. The wind was still, the whispers silenced. Standing before them, bathed in silvery light, was a majestic oak, its leaves shimmering like emeralds. It radiated a warmth and calm that banished the terror from their hearts. They collapsed beneath the oak, its presence offering a sanctuary from the lurking evil. As dawn broke, they found Arthur's journal tucked beneath the oak's roots. He had succumbed to the whispers, lured by the promise of peace. But his final words, scrawled with a dying hand, offered a warning. The oak shelters, the whispering trees devour. Remember, the shadows fall at dusk. They left the woods forever changed, haunted by the encounter, burdened with the knowledge of the evil that lurked within those whispering trees. And every year, on the anniversary of Arthur's disappearance, a chilling wind blows through the clearing, carrying a faint, distorted whisper. Turn back before the shadows fall. An unfinished painting leads a group of college friends to a hidden cabin in the woods, where nightmares manifest into reality. A group of 4 college friends, Sarah, Jake, Emily, and Liam, stand excitedly before a dusty antique store. Sunlight gleams off the window display, or an unfinished oil painting depicts a quaint cabin nestled amidst a sun-dappled forest. Sarah, a budding art student, couldn't resist the painting's haunting beauty. The brushstrokes were raw, the colors vibrant, and the unfinished cabin seemed to beckon her closer. As she traced her fingers over the canvas, a shiver ran down her spine. The wood of the cabin felt warm beneath her touch. The forest air tickled her skin. Haunted by the painting's allure, Sarah convinced her friends to embark on a weekend camping trip, determined to find the cabin in real life. Armed with the painting as their map and youthful adrenaline as their guide, they ventured deep into the woods, the sunlight filtering through the canopy casting an eerie green glow. The deeper they go, the denser the forest becomes. The chirping birds and rustling leaves give way to an unsettling silence, broken only by the crunch of their footsteps and the occasional snapping twig. Hours passed, doubts creeping in like the encroaching shadows. Jake, the pragmatist, scoffed at the idea of finding a real cabin based on a painting. Emily, the adventurer, remained optimistic, her eyes scanning the woods for any sign of their elusive destination. The quiet observer kept his thoughts hidden, but a flicker of unease flickered in his eye. Just as despair begins to settle in, Sarah spots it. A dilapidated log cabin, nestled exactly where it was in the painting, bathed in the dying light of dusk. A wave of excitement washes over the group, dispelling their doubts. The closer they got, the more the reality diverged from the painting. The once vibrant colors were faded and chipped, the windows boarded shut, and the air around it crackled with a strange energy. An unsettling quiet pervaded the cabin, a stark contrast to the chirping crickets and rustling leaves of the surrounding forest. Hesitantly, they approached the cabin. The boards on the window seemed warped and misshapen, like grotesque faces peering out from the darkness inside. Emily, unable to resist the mystery, pried open a loose board. A sliver of moonlight illuminated the interior, revealing a dusty room devoid of furniture, save for a lone easel in the corner and a paintbrush lying at its base. As Sarah drew closer, a gasp escaped her lips. The unfinished canvas from the antique store stood on the easel, eerily identical to the one she held. But this time, the cabin was complete, and standing on its porch, bathed in the moonlight, were dark, distorted figures staring straight at them. Panic erupts. The shadows from the painting twist and writhe, transforming into nightmarish creatures that lunge at the friends from the darkness. Screams filled the air as the friends fled from the cabin, the creatures pursuing them. The forest, once serene, turned into a labyrinth of nightmares, their worst fears taking physical form from the darkness. Sarah clutched the painting, the canvas growing warm against her skin, whispering promises of safety if she surrendered. Liam, remembering a forgotten childhood myth about the woods, led them to a hidden spring, its water rumored to hold protective magic. As they bathed in its cool embrace, the creatures dissipated, the woods falling silent once more. They stumble out of the forest, forever changed by their encounter. The painting has vanished, a chilling reminder of the price of their curiosity back in the antique store. The unfinished painting was gone, replaced by a pristine blank canvas. But Sarah knew the truth. The cabin in the woods remained, a dark secret nestled within the trees, where nightmares still awaited their next victim. And on moonlit nights, a faint whisper could be heard on the wind. Come closer, lost souls. The woods offer solace and oblivion. A cryptic photo found on an antique camera leads a couple on a chilling quest into the depths of a cursed forest, where the line between nature and nightmare blurs. A cozy cabin nestled amidst a sun-dappled forest. Anya, an aspiring photographer, rummages through a dusty box of antiques, her fingers snagging on an old camera. Its leather casing is worn, the brass lens cloudy with age. Inside, a single, faded photograph rests. The photo depicted a serene clearing, a towering oak tree adorned with vibrant green moss. But what chilled Anya was the group of children playing beneath it, their faces obscured by a strange, swirling mist. Their eyes, though, glittered with an unnatural emerald glow. Anya, captivated by the image, felt an inexplicable pull towards the clearing. So, with her boyfriend, Ben, in tow, they embarked on a weekend camping trip, the faded photo their only guide. The forest welcomed them with a symphony of birdsong and rustling leaves, but beneath it lurked a disquiet, a prickling sensation on the back of their necks. As they venture deeper, the forest transforms. The sunlight dwindles, replaced by an eerie green luminescence emanating from the mossy undergrowth. The silence deepens, broken only by the unsettling whisper of wind through the leaves. Hours turned into days, the clearing from the photo a haunting mirage. Doubts gnawed at Ben, urging them to turn back. Yet Anya remained resolute, driven by the image's hypnotic beauty and the growing presence of the moss children in her dreams. Then, just as despair threatened to consume them, they stumbled upon it. A clearing bathed in an unnatural green glow, the towering oak standing at its center, its branches dripping with shimmering emerald moss, and beneath it, playing amidst the twisted roots, were the children from the photo. The children turned to face them, their faces still obscured by mist, their eyes glowing brighter than ever. A child's laughter echoes through the clearing, but it carries a chilling edge, more like the rustling of dead leaves than a joyous melody. Ben, filled with dread, pleaded with Anya to leave. But the children, their whispers like tendrils of mist, beckoned her closer. Anya, entranced by their unearthly beauty, stepped towards them, oblivious to Ben's frantic cry. As she reached the children, the mist swirled around her, engulfing her whole. A scream ripped from Ben's throat as he watched Anya dissolve into the green haze, swallowed by the forest itself. He fled, the children's laughter echoing in his ears, a maddening symphony of his guilt and loss. Ben stumbles out of the woods, forever haunted by the memory of the moss children and Anya's chilling transformation. The woods remained silent, the photo in his pocket the only trace of the nightmare he barely escaped. He emerged from the forest a broken man, forever haunted by the image of the moss children and Anya's chilling transformation. He returned the camera to the antique store, the photo vanishing from within it. But the unsettling glow of the forest clung to him, a constant reminder of the darkness that lurks beneath the beauty of nature and the price of curiosity paid in flesh and soul. Subscribe, like, and comment if you enjoyed the story. Share your own unsettling encounters with nature in the comments.